All right, here we go. Project time again. This is actually the second intro I'm doing, and I'm doing a second intro because the one I did earlier, it was really dark, really rainy, and yeah, it was a mess. Anyway, today's project, again, will be the HICAS delete on the 34, and I'm going to show you guys how I actually turned off the HICAS light without taking apart the dash, without pulling the bulb, without doing all that kind of stuff. Really easy. That's today's project. HICAS delete. HICAS light disengage or take off, whatever. So before we get started again, I'm not a professional. This is just my way of doing things. So follow, copy at your own risk. Anyway, on with today's project. Today's project, HICAS removal, HICAS delete. This is from GK Tech. I do have some of my own ideas on how to properly, I guess, set everything up, but I'll show you guys all that in a minute. First is the unboxing, and let me see what I have. So I guess I ordered a bunch of other stuff. Not sure what they are, but rear bushing. Oh, this is the rear bushing for the HICAS, but I'm gonna use something different. Never mind, I changed my mind. We're gonna use this. So normally you can opt out for polyurethane rear bushings. Like I said before, polyurethanes, they're good while they last, but initially not so good. Polyurethane will always deform after a long period of time. Little higher maintenance, but this is awesome. Spherical bushings. So spherical bushings are actually a bearing that sits inside of a steel casing housing, and this thing is going to offer you the best reliability. Servicing might take a little, I'm not too sure about the servicing, but they're supposed to last super long. Really rigid, the best response, so I'm going to use this. This is the center rod for the HICAS delete. Okay, you guys gotta see this. Solid aluminum, spherical bushings, spherical bearings on the end. This thing is solid. Oh my god. And it came with a dust cover. Okay, that's the unboxing. I just wanted to point out that everything is aluminum, solid, super solid. So now that everything is opened, the next thing I'm gonna deal with, let me go underneath the car. Once I take out the HICAS, usually people just leave it or they pull out the light bulbs in the dash. I don't want to do that. So let's take a look and see what needs to come off. What I'm going to do to measure to make sure everything goes back exactly how it is. And some ideas on the electrical system. So let me take a look. So this is the underneath. I just unplugged all of these things, right? This is for the HICAS. Got so many plugs over here. All right, now that everything is unplugged, it's gonna throw a whole bunch of lights. There was a guy on YouTube that did show what to do, and let me go and see the inside first and see what kind of lights I have. All right, so it looks like I have a whole bunch of lights. Traction control, traction slip, TCS off, HICAS light on. That's just the seatbelt, that's just the handbrake, but the rest of them are on like a Christmas tree. Okay, let's figure out what to do. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? There was a guy on YouTube. If I can find his link, I'll put it in the description on the bottom. If not, I don't know, I'll find some way to get you guys the information. Let me go and watch this video and then figure out what to do to turn that light off without pulling out the light bulb. So doing all kind of weird stuff, so I'll be right back. All right, here is an update. Let me show you guys. I unplugged the wrong things. Anyway, let me show you. Now there's only the HICAS light on. So now I only have, well, this is the emergency brake. So if I put the emergency brake down, it goes away. Okay, emergency brake, seat belt, doors open, and the good old HICAS light. Let me show you how to turn that HICAS light off. Okay, let's go into the trunk. Let's go underneath the car. All right, hopefully there's enough light. So this is the one I unplugged by accident, the gray one in the back. do not unplug that gray one. This is for your ABS, your traction control and all that. You need this connector to be connected in, and this was attached to the subframe in the back. The only things you're gonna disconnect is this guy back here. This goes right here. The motor, this one right here, and one last one that was right here. So 3. You should only disconnect 3 plugs. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and the ground. There's a ground back here. That ground can come off. And I think there's another ground. No? I think that was it. So 3 plugs. 1, 2, 3. And the ground back there. Let me show you what you need to do next. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is remove the back panel portion of the trunk. So we're going to remove the back panel of the trunk. We're going to pop this. We're going to pop this. There's one more up here. All right, now remove this little rear tray. Now this is what we need to get to. This is, I forget what that one is. Let me go and double check my notes and I'll be right back, so hang on. Alright, so I'm back. I found out which wire it is. It is the green wire with the white stripe, and I got this information from Car Shop Bloom. So let me show you exactly how I do it. There it is, and I believe it is pin number 15, but it is the green wire with the white stripe. So all you do is you snip this, and that's pretty much it. I'm gonna pull back a lot more on the tape, and that will allow me to reconnect it later on with some butt connectors or whatever I choose to. So let me pull the sheathing back, cut the wire, and we'll see if the light is on. All right, here goes nothing. Well, let's see if that worked. Cut the green wire with the white stripe. There's only one, so let's see. Alright, there we go. So like I said, the one to the left, that's the emergency brake, seatbelt light, and my door is open. It worked. Awesome, 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 awesome. Now I can reconnect it whenever I want, and then now I can go on with the rest of the project to try to take out the HICAS and replace the side with spherical bearings. I'll show you all that anyway. Let me put all this back together. I'll be right back. So now that we know the HICAS light is off, and I did not have to do anything else. So the next step, now that I know the HICAS light is off, let me show you how I'm gonna take some measurements, because a lot of people will take off the arms and then do measurements on the ground. I'm gonna try to do something a little different. Let me show you what I'm gonna measure first. My bright idea looks something like this. I'm gonna take a measurement from this very tip here to the back of the knuckle, and I have, my measurement reads exactly, I'm gonna call it 10 1/8. So I'm gonna write that measurement down right here. All right, I'm gonna do that to the other side. Now when it comes time to put the new arms on, I'll put the new arm on here and I'll hook it up. I'll know exactly from this point where this knuckle needs to be. So that's my bright idea. Now, how do we take it off? I'm gonna do the ball joint method that so many other people have done. I'm gonna take this nut off first. There's also a 12 millimeter nut on the back side. So I need to take off this 12 millimeter nut back here, this 17 millimeter nut here, Then I'm going to use a ball joint method to pry that guy off. Maybe I might have to take off the shock, who knows. But anyway, let me do all that and I'll show you guys what it looks like when it comes time to pull all that off. So I'll be right back. Well, it is out. I've learned a couple things and I will show you guys tomorrow. It's kind of late today, but there is the whatever that ball joint thing is. It's on the ground. It's probably hot, so I'm not gonna touch it. Like I said earlier, I did all the hard work so you guys can figure out how to do it a little easier. Couple things, like I said, I'm going to show you what I found was the easiest for me. I'm going to show you guys the first couple of things that I have in my arsenal. First thing, you are going to need some kind of torch. I mean, you don't need to, but life is going to be sure a hell lot easier with this. Ball joint splitter, you don't need it, but like I said, life is going to be so much easier. I'll show you how to use the ball joint press thing. I think either a 30 or 32 millimeter socket and a 14 millimeter socket. So let me pull off the wheel and I'll show you guys the whole process of what I went through and how I made it a lot easier for me. Yes, but first thing we're gonna do is take off this pin here. Now I did find it easier to just loosen the shock and push the shock off to the side, so I'll do that. And this just pops this little cap off back here. There you go. All I'm gonna do is just push the shock off to the inside. Now for the ball joint splitter thing. And now the hard part. All right, the first thing I'm gonna do, put a 14 millimeter socket right on the end of here. That'll push the ball joint out. Then I'm gonna put this 30 millimeter socket right on the back and it fits just perfect. Then I'm gonna put the ball joint splitter, not ball joint splitter, but that ball joint tool and put a lot of pressure on this thing. You want to put enough pressure just unto the point that it's gonna pop, but it's not. Then you're gonna heat it up. I tried so many times without the heat. It was just so much easier with it, and I'll show you guys right now. All right, now this is my setup. What you're gonna do is put a lot of pressure on this thing. Now you can see some of the grease has squirted out. I'm gonna put a lot more pressure on it, heat it up, and then you're gonna see this thing slowly squirt in. That'll tell me that the ball joint in the middle is being pushed inward into the socket. So let me do that right now and you guys can watch it. And like I said, for some reason, using heat just works a whole lot better. Yep, it's coming through. Set up again. Now I gotta reheat this thing. All right, so it started moving. I heated it up a lot. Constant pressure, and you're gonna see the socket push inwards. So I might get a hammer, I might smack this back part, or I might just use my ball joint splitter. Yeah, I'll just use my ball joint tool. And there you go. That's how you take it out. Now, yes, I could have just used the ball joint tool itself, but it was harder to align it. It was just a little easier with the socket. You could have used just the ball joint tool itself and pushed the whole thing through. That was possible. Let me clean everything up and I'll show you the rest of the process. So now it's time to put everything back in. Like I said, I'm gonna put a solid spherical bushing. I don't want to put urethane. Urethane is gonna be sloppy later on. It's gonna be, urethane just always oblongs or rounds out. Just not for me. You could go with the Nismo solid bushing. I'm gonna go with something even more solid from GK Tech. Because like I said, you don't want that thing to move. So I did opt out for the solid spherical bushings from GK Tech. and it goes like this. There's two parts to this. One end is going to be beveled. One end is going to be flat. Whichever way you put this in, the bevel side needs to go in first, and that's to help it not catch on anything. So I'll show you how I did that. I cleaned the area, I cleaned the hole, sanded it clean, degreased it, put a little grease. Now it's time to put it back together. And in order to put it back together, I'm going to use GK Tech's installation kit. Now this will work for all the rear bushings on the rear knuckle. This works for everything, including the HICAS. The new bushing will be pressed in this way. This guy goes on the outside. This will draw it in. And the nut is how you're going to pull everything through with the screw. Alright, let's go and show you guys how I put this together. Now I guess it's going to be easier to pull it in from this way. So put some grease on this. Alright, there we go. It looks like it's flushed. You know, I'm not 100% sure, but this looks pretty good to me. Both sides. Now, I'm pretty sure that is not how you're supposed to do it. Stupid me, I should have followed the directions. I should have watched the video that they give you. So I'm gonna do that before I do the other side. Everything is perfect, it's lined up flush and flat like how it's supposed to be, but I'm pretty sure that's not how you're supposed to do it. Let me watch the video and I'll show you guys what I do on the other side when I do it the correct way. So I'll be right back. So I watched the video. I think I'm doing it correctly. I don't know. We'll see. It worked for me on the other side, so we'll try it again. We'll just do it real quick, show you guys real fast, and get on with this. And of course, don't forget the bevel side goes in first, whichever side you choose to push it in through. Now I found it easier, the kit did come with a shorter screw. I found it easier to turn this cup around, then pull it all the rest of the way and make sure that it's flush at the very end. Now just put in your, whatever these things are called. I think they're misalignment spacers or something. I don't know. Anyway, you know what to do. Okay, so that one went a little smoother. I'm not sure which screw you're supposed to use, the longer one or shorter one. Aligning the cup was the hardest part, which is why I think they give little sight windows on the side. So the sight windows helped out a lot. Next step, take off the whole HICAS motor thing. Super easy, just 2 screws. I'll do that right now. Well, that was pretty easy. So all I'm gonna do now is zip tie up the electricals so they're not in the way. Now let me give you a quick overview of my interpretation of how the rest is supposed to go, and I'll give you a real quick tip that'll help you a lot. From what I understand, it goes onto the car this way. So on one side you're gonna see these indentations. With those indentations, they go to the car side. You're gonna have these spacers here, and from what I understand, these spacers have a little lip and they go in accordingly. Whoa, like that. Then you have the supplied hardware, and they're all the same from what I can see. And like I said, this side goes against the car frame. Let me try to put it together. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to show you guys. It's a really good idea to take apart the screws, clean them out with a wire brush, anti-seize, and put everything back together. If you have ever had snow, rain, or any kind of water, I would definitely put these boots on. So yeah, that's my little tip. All right, let me put it back together. Oh no, the exhaust is in the way. Okay, the exhaust is in the way. Damn. Let me figure this out. I'll be right back. All right, let me show you guys what I got. With the problem of yesterday, the center bar not fitting, I went and got these extra longer exhaust hangers. Now I have a couple options what I can do. Option one, I figure a way how to lower the exhaust hangers down, but I don't want to do that because that'll lower the exhaust, meaning the damn exhaust is going to hit the ground whenever I go over speed bumps. So that's not an option. Option two, I ding the exhaust, which I do not want to do. So I'm kind of stuck at a crossroads. Or I cut the center bar. I'll show you. The other option is I cut a piece of this section out. But that's stupid. Why should I have to do that? I double checked the part numbers. I double checked everything on GK's website. It is correct. I don't know why it's not fitting. Here's one thing I noticed. Now the instructions, according to what my interpretation of the instructions are, the washers, there's supposed to be a washer because there's an indentation here, there's an indentation and an oblongation here. This is supposed to go to the frame, but if you look from the top down, it's offset. I don't know if you guys can see, but kind of hard to see. We're right here. This would be the center line of this bar. Both sides are offset a little to the front. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's offset. So this is closer to the exterior. This is offset in. Originally, the instructions say to turn it around and the washers go against the frame. From underneath the car, it goes like that. But it does fit better the opposite way. I checked the clearance. The clearance is really good in back of everything. So that's my only option. Put it in backwards. Or I have no idea. Maybe for the 34s it's that way, who knows. Meantime, I'm going to pre-assemble. There is no right and left. I'm just going to pre-assemble these guys, put them together, and then I'll put everything in. So let me do that right now. I'll be right back again. So I pre-assembled everything and this is what it looks like. I guess we're going to make it so that way the washer, whatever the spacer thing is with this little lip, is going to go here. This is going to face the outside of the vehicle, of the car. I put the screws in from the back, and this is just my theories. So we're going to go from the back, and then I can tighten it from the front. I can hold the rear with a open end wrench, and that seems to be the easiest solution for this problem. Yeah, let me just put this in real quick and we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, and just for my purposes, I would rather use the original mounting bolts for the whole system. So we'll see how that works out. Okay, next thing is just to adjust these arms and set my measurements. If the car was not in an accident, everything is good, my measurements are going to come out exactly perfect from this point to this point. It was 10 1/8 of an inch on both sides, which tells me the car was square, never in an accident. I'm just going to put those in and we'll see what happens. Just gotta adjust the other side. All I have to do now, take my measurements, line everything up. There's no sense boring you guys with measuring something, so I'll do that right now and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm done. Everything is measured out. It's installed as best as I can, so I'll show you guys what it looks like. Okay, here we go. And everything does seem to fit properly. Let's show you a view from underneath. This is the view from underneath. So there is a lot of clearance Well, I guess that's how it was supposed to go. I don't know. Maybe their instructions are wrong. Maybe I interpreted their instructions wrong. I don't know. Anyway, let me get this cleaned up and then I'll be right back again. All right, that is it. I think I am done for today. That's the installation of the GK Tech HICAS lockout, and that's how to turn off the HICAS light. Super easy, right? Just cut one wire, the green with the white stripe. So now, as far as why it didn't go in the first time, I don't know. Maybe it was my interpretation of the instructions, how it was supposed to be, as far as which direction, which way. I don't know. Like I said, I could have read it wrong. Who knows? Anything could have happened, but I did get it sorted out. It is working perfectly. I need to take the car to the alignment shop, so I'm not going to drive it just yet. And I also need to install the coilovers and air cup kit before I go to the alignment shop. So there's a ton more things I gotta do. Anyway, I am tired. That is it for today. Thanks everybody for sticking around. I'll see you guys again on my next project.